network for Avita, and he has been instrumental in the consumer education and marketing of Celegen, the Swiss marine supplement, since the launching of the product in 2009. Alvin has a wealth of experience and testimonies to share with us today. So now I present to you Gerald Chu and Alvin Yong.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Veronica. Hi there, everybody. Very good evening to our friends from near and far across the world. Actually, I think tonight we have a very international audience. We have people logging in all the way from Singapore to Philippines to the United States and Canada as well. Welcome to this talk on cellular health. And we'll share lots of tips on how we all can improve our health and prevent really chronic diseases by taking care of our cells, okay? And how Celergen Swiss Marine Supplement is really one of the best tools out there that is to help us do that. Now, I'm also very, very privileged to have with me Mr. Gerald Chu, a dear cousin of mine, whom we have known each other for over 5 decades. He's been a veteran in the pharmaceutical and medical nutrition for over 30 years. Now, he used to joke that he consumes clinical trial reports for breakfast. So when I first shared with him the goodness of Celegen, he researched very, very extensively into its ingredients and read and consumed and digested many of the clinical trials as well. So for your benefit, I've invited him to share his learning with all of us today. Now, what we are sharing here is for information purpose and should not replace your doctor's advice. Okay, all testimonies are based on the actual experiences of our clients and therefore illustrative purposes only. Now, we live in a very, very modern era of very high technologies, better convenience, and much greater comfort than many decades ago. But we seem to be living with a much larger buffet of chronic diseases that really threaten our health. Now, research documented over 12,500 different types of chronic illnesses that are very commonly suffered by human beings. But unlike acute illnesses like SARS or the COVID-19 that can hit you out of the blue, but a great number of chronic illnesses are actually preventable. Now, provided we have the awareness and also the know-how to steer clear of them. Now, survey carried out over an extended period of time in Singapore shows that today's older folks, next slide, please. Right. Yep, thank you. You'll notice that the survey carried out in Singapore with an extended period of time shows that today, older folks are far less healthier than 2 decades ago in modern Singapore, where we have a very reasonably good and high standard of healthcare system. Now, actually, it's pretty scary that by the age of 60, many adults are carrying 3 or more chronic diseases, including the 3 highs. The 3 highs are bad news, really, because they are precursor to more deadly and terminal illnesses like heart attack, stroke, and kidney failure. So it just doesn't make sense for all of us to work so hard in our younger days, build up our wealth, and then only to spend all our monies on medical and hospital bill or hiring caregiver in our older age. And besides really own suffering, actually every chronic sufferer would extend their stress and the suffering to his entire family. And a lot of time it will not only drain all his wealth, but also will drain the children's money as well. Now, not just in Singapore, of course. And I have this case from the Philippines. Now, this is attorney Olivia with her daughter who is a doctor herself. Now, at the age of 77, Olivia was suffering from 6 different chronic illnesses and was taking 10 different maintenance medicine every single day. Now, isn't this quite a common experience for many elderly among us even? Right? Doesn't matter whether in Singapore or around the other country. How about in Singapore? Well, the next slide will show you Mr. Tan Han Yong. Now, he is a Singaporean who actually works in a hospital, but that didn't prevent him from getting all these health issues, chronic health issues. Now, people like Han Yong are actually pretty common among all our friends, and maybe even some of you listening in right now as well. So what can we do about it? Next slide, please. Yeah, so you see, so how can we help a person with multiple chronic conditions? Now, which option would you prefer? A, one med for one condition. B, several med for several conditions. Or C, one med for many conditions at the same time. Will you type in the chat group which would be your preferred option? A, B, or C? Wow, lots of people are typing in your choice of C, right? But is it possible? Is there such a solution? So let's take a look at some of these examples here, right? Now let's look at Olivia. Just now I mentioned about attorney Olivia. At the age of 77, that was in the year 2015, Olivia was in critical condition due to congestive heart failure. Now her daughter, Dr. Diona, tried everything, and she was quite close to running out of really all options, medical options. Then she recalled a friend who told her about Celergen many months before that. Well, she started her mother on Celergen, and to her pleasant surprise, her mother's condition began to show signs of improvement, and she got well enough to be discharged from the hospital in less than a month and went on to receive her Lifetime Achievement Award, which is shown in the picture here. Okay, Varun, could you click? Yep. I was personally very elated to have met Olivia in person in 2018, that's 3 years later. Seeing Olivia in the 80 years old, in the pink of health, and she even danced a little bit with me, was really pure happiness for me. Now, how about just now the case, Mr. Tan Han Yong from Singapore? Well, thanks to Mary, who recommended him Celergen, he decided to give Celergen a try in 2018. Now, over the next 1 year, he experienced improvement, not only to his overall well-being, but most of his chronic conditions have also improved. Now, you see, most of us know what diseases are, and we can name plenty of them. But they are but the iceberg on the surface. Now, less familiar are most of us on the actual underlying causes, such as cellular inflammation, hormonal imbalance, mitochondrial dysfunction, etc. Now, do you know that when we all started life from just one single cell, and then multiplying and generating into over 100 trillion cells to form who we are today. Now, all the workings within our body, from the beating of the heart to the transportation of the oxygen around our body by the blood to the digesting of food, they are all workings of the cells. Now, different kinds of cells, blood cells, immune cells, nerve cells, and many, many others. So all diseases, if you think about it, you can boil them down to only one illness, and that is cells not functioning properly. So at this juncture, I'd like to invite Gerald, my co-speaker, right? Gerald, given your pharmaceutical and nutritional science background, would you tell us what are some of the reasons why cells become not functioning properly?
Thank you, Alvin, for the introduction. Yes, there are many areas why cells don't function properly, but there are commonly two attributes why cells do not function or they get sick. First is toxicity and deficiency. What are they? In today's environment, it exerts a lot of things into our body. What are these big toll of things that end up pushing into our cells? It ends up not only in the air that we breathe, things that are in the water, the food we take in, laden with heavy chemicals, and many of us are long-term on chemical drugs, and with our Wi-Fi, which we sometimes cannot live with, all around us 24/7, we are all constantly being irradiated all the time. And in terms of quality of food intake, many suffer from an unbalanced diet, and therefore our cells suffer from the deficiency, apart from the toxicity from the environment. And the next slide, it shows that with increased stress from the environment, we get bombarded by all these things called the free radicals into our body and right into our minute part of the body, our cells. I know we all like free things, okay? But this one is not good to have. Free radicals are still being useful as a signal indicator, but if there are too many, it can be bad news for our body. Because why? They cause oxidative stress, which means cells will start to be damaged slowly and literally quickens your aging process. Okay, so take it an example, a simplistic example. You have an iron rod. With that iron rod, it gets oxidized. Means what it means? If it's oxidized, means it is rusting, right? So graphically speaking, you visualize what free radicals and the oxidation can do that causes our body to start, in that sense of the word, rusting from the inside out. All right. So when free radicals enter the cell of our body, they cause damage to the mitochondrial. And what is the mitochondrial? It is the nutrient that converts it is a mechanism that converts nutrients into energy to power up the cells. And if you damage that, including the DNA, it is increasingly understood the DNA plays a role in development. And if you destroy that, what do you have? A severe onset of chronic age-related ailments and illnesses. On the next slide, I can show you that the DNA damage, what can it lead to? It turns off certain things and turn on certain things. What does it turn off? It turns off, unfortunately, the good genes that help regulate metabolism and hormonal imbalance, like what Alvin has mentioned. Now, what does it mean? Turning off metabolism is like turning off your chemical that is converting your food into energy. And turning off all the hormonal imbalance means that you're going to gain weight, you're going to be fatigued, you're going to have increased sensitivity to cold, you're going to have sensitivity to heat, you're going to get more things like constipation, frequent bowel movement, you get dry skin, puffy face, and unexplained weight loss or weight gain and increased heart rate. All these things will start coming up. So what does it turn on? Unfortunately, also, it turns on the bad genes. And what are these bad genes? It can lead to all kinds of chronic illnesses, and it will trigger the most dreaded item that we are in this world that know about it. Is called cancer. Right? In the next slide, I can tell you, if we allow free radicals to wreak havoc in our body, what happens? First thing, inflammation will start at all the different parts of the body and at different stages. And over time, it develops into a chronic inflammation. Now, that will be the most scariest part of the various conditions that you're going to be expecting. Meaning to say, you're going to expect chronic diseases coming in with inflammation, diseases of the heart, the kidney, the lungs, the joints, the autoimmune system, and it relates to cancer and all the rest. So Alvin, tell us, what can we do to turn around this so real threat to our health?
Well, I mentioned just now that all these chronic illnesses, we can boil down to one issue, which is the cells not functioning. Therefore, we nourish the cells. It's called cellular therapy. Now, you see, due to all the stresses and the free radical that Gerald just helped us understood, right? our cells degenerate over time. Now, each generation of the new cells becoming poorer, and we know this as aging. Now, as the cells become poorer, cellular functions also get weaker, resulting in illnesses of different sorts. Yeah. So with cellular therapy, as you see in the slide here, we are able to first intercept and prevent further worsening, and 2, repair, maintain the cellular health, and 3, rebuild and rejuvenate the cells to function healthily. Now, this has been made possible with a Switzerland technology called Celergen. Right, in the next slide, you'll see that it's researched and developed in Switzerland. Now, Celegen is a Swiss marine nutritional supplement for our cells. Now, Celegen has worldwide accreditations, including the Swiss Free Sale Certificate, that says that it's not only sellable outside of Switzerland, but it also meets the highest stringent criteria to be sellable within this country called Switzerland. Yeah. Now, also every batch of Celegen is being sent to and tested and certified free of drugs and also banned substances by BSCG, namely Banned Substances Control Group. Now, that is actually a world governing body for anti-doping. Now, Celegen is brought to you by Avita. And Avita is a Singapore company launched in 2007. Now, Avita distribution network spans across 9 countries in Asia. Now, we are very, very grateful to Ms. Li Xiangyin, who is the founder and the CEO of Avita, really for her vision, for her foresight many years ago, and to invest and create Celegen. Now, leading to the birth of Celegen in 2009. So this year is the 11th year of Celegen being of service to the world. Now, with the double S, Singapore brand for the reliability, and also Swiss for its quality and safety, we really aspire to live up to our slogan of for a better life and for a better world. Now, Celegen's active ingredients are DNA extracts from deep sea marine ocean fish. Now, these major active ingredients are actually synergistically blended together to provide the highest premium nourishment for our cells, so that to enable the cells to repair and regenerate healthily. Now, Celegen has numerous ingredients that are considered high quality antioxidant. Next slide, please. They work together like an army to provide protections to all the cells. Now, Gerald, can you please talk to us about what those chosen antioxidants do and why they are especially important to ourselves and to safeguard our health in today's context?
Yeah, it's my pleasure to mention on all these ingredients and contents, because when I start listening to Alvin on Celegen itself, I asked Alvin, give me all the data that you have. I want to do my own research. And what did I found? With today's external environment and radiation waves, like I mentioned early on, 24/7, induced stresses, unbalanced diet, poor nutrition, etc. So our bodies are bombarded with free radicals in far greater number and intensity. Now, the crucial intake of antioxidant will carry the excess electrons. What does it mean? Actually, these electrons will neutralize many of the radicals in our body. The free radicals will be balanced and paired off properly, and therefore supplementing with high quality antioxidant is necessary to protect us against oxidative stress and reduce damage to our cells. What is this oxidative stress and damage to our cells? It is that once the stress happens on the cell, there is a chain reaction. And this chain reaction is not going up, improving, but it's a deteriorating chain reaction that will happen. So the antioxidant comes in to reverse the risk of degeneration of the diseases that will come into the body and prevent cell aging process as much as possible. And in the next slide, in one of the clinical study on bio-DNA cellular marine complex, is proven to be effective for asthenia. That means loss of energy and strength. So when people have this condition of loss of energy and strength, they said, so what are we going to do about it? So what this content does, when they research this and they put it in Celergen, is that there were open clinical study done on the I would say there are 60, I have to make it as simple as possible for you. There are 60 low strength energy symptoms in this study. A cutoff point of 15 symptoms were taken. A total of about 76 adults and 44 were split up into what they can monitor is having this condition of loss of energy and strength. And they have another compared with 32 normal adults having less than 15 symptoms. That means out of 60, one group, there are more of these symptoms, and another group, less than 15 of these symptoms are seen. Now, the consumption of the bio-DNA cellular marine complex with these conditions were found to be reduced by almost 63% of the physical asthenic symptoms and 40% reduction of the mental asthenic symptoms. Now, why I say physical and mental? Because when you have loss of strength and energy, our mind also have an influence over our overall being. So in the overall study, 58 out of 60 of these condition symptoms were improved. And many of those debilitating symptoms were particularly diminished. Well, one would say, how about on a wider scale? So when they collate the data globally, the action of bio-DNA cellular marine complex was so positive, they came up with a 53% almost on the cases. That means it's like more than half. It's 1 out of 2 that responded remarkably in terms of strength and energy recovery. So Alvin, have you had any experience on this?
Yeah, you know, this particular ingredient is especially powerful in terms of promoting healing. And I would say speeding up healing is really very important when you break a bone. Yeah. Now this is, my friend Hang Piao's elder sister. She sustained a bone fracture about 2 years ago. The doctor immobilized her arm and told her that there was nothing else that he can do for her except for the bone to heal back naturally. And due to her old age, the doctor told her that it might take about half a year, so she had to be patient. Yeah. So Hang Piao immediately put her on Celergen, taking 2 soft gel every single day. Now he was really pleasantly surprised to see that the sister healed very quickly, and within just 3 months, she was not only just got back to the kitchen doing her usual cooking, you know, she even went on a tour to China with her whole family. And that was really a great testimony for many, you know, with regards to bone healing. Now, the next slide may have a disturbing picture, but it is from Mr. Tan himself. Now, this is a user of Celergen from Indonesia. Now, he is very, very thankful to Celergen for saving his foot. Now, due to his diabetic condition, his foot wound could not heal, and he was close to the danger of being amputated. Now, a friend of his recommended him to try Celergen. Now, very fortunately, his condition gradually improved and got better, and in a year later, his wound managed to heal. And it was only when he came to Singapore and visited us in our office that we got to learn of his amazing story. Obviously, we all celebrated with him. And so this is another example of how Celergen promotes our cellular healing. And that is really an important aspect of having good health. Gerald, what's the next ingredient in Celergen that you have researched on?
Oh, by the way, that was a remarkable healing, actually.
Yeah.
Another ingredient that we have in Celergen is, I found, that is grape skin extract. And this is beneficial mainly for the heart. Why? Because it reduces plaques in the arterial plaques. That means in the plaques, there are fatty deposits. The plaques are called the fatty deposits in the artery, which improves the endothelial and vascular function, meaning to say it improves the smoothing of the blood vessels, all right? And the vascular function of the heart with advancing age improves, okay? And it removes plaques from vessels from the brain, so it helps in improving Alzheimer's condition. It reduces the uric acid, which contributes to gout condition, so it improves that condition. It increases, because it goes into the brain and it sort of unclogs all the plaques slowly. Now, when I say slowly means gradually, it's not like straight away it's unplugged, because once you hit, if you can see the diagram itself, the slide deck, the yellow color, if one big chunk is dislodged, you're kicking the bucket down the road, that means it's going to be stuck somewhere else again, and it will cause a major problem. All right, so it gradually reduces these fatty deposits and improves the spatial learning and in terms of the memory, improves the insulin sensitivity. But however, studies have also shown that it has protective area in skin against both the harmful UVB lights, the rays that comes in from the sun, and the chemical toxins, which reduces wrinkles formation. This was published in the journal Food and Science 2019 by Jun Kim Associates. And also, many will want to know, so, okay, you have all these conditions. How about those who are physically fit and active? So what are we gonna do? Well, this ingredient, grape skin extract, gives better blood circulation and supports the muscle recovery in your sporting activities. In our next slide, you can take a look. There's a good ingredient that is also present. It's the coenzyme 10, which is also associated for the goodness for the heart. It's an antioxidant that is made in the human body and is needed for basic cell function.
Hello? Hello? Oo, narinig mo. Hello?
Yes, hello. Yes. Yeah. Okay, I continue now. Okay. So this coenzyme Q10 is needed for basic cell function for growth and maintenance. And it is shown to help in the recovery of people who just had bypass of the heart valves in surgeries, major open heart surgeries, right? And the level decreases with age. And those with health conditions like cancer, genetic disorders, diabetes, HIV, muscular dystrophies, migraines, Parkinson's disease, all these will contribute to the lowering level of coenzyme Q10 in our body. Now, the University of Maryland in Medical Center also indicates that coenzyme Q10 may function as a natural treatment to reduce cholesterol and reduce the alteration of bad cells in atherosclerosis. You know the big word atherosclerosis means you're gonna get all the fatty deposits in the heart vessels. So while ongoing studies are still try to confirm in detail how it works, because it works, but they want to know how it actually works. So until then, it may be possible to combine coenzyme Q10 with statin. Those who take statins are those with high cholesterol. All right. Now, the problem with statin is that the side effects is muscle weakness and myalgia. And some people can go into hospital because of that. So with coenzyme Q10, it can reduce the side effects of these statins. What do you think of this, Alvin?
Yeah, talking about heart, yeah, the heart is so important. And I personally have lots of friends with different kind of heart conditions. I will have a story to tell here. This is my very good friend, Donna Fu. He is a retired group president of a very big Japanese company. Now, at the age of 66, he discovered that his heart valve showed signs of leakage. And that is a problem, right? And the surgeon, his doctor told him that he would need a heart valve replacement surgery. Now, he was very worried because he had a good friend, same age, went for the heart valve surgery and then died on the table, operating table. So naturally, he was very, very anxious. So he asked me for my advice. I I say, look, if you have to go for surgery, you have to go for surgery, but please start on Celergen. It will strengthen your overall cellular health, and hopefully, it will prepare you for the eventualities, right? Well, he started on Celergen, and but to him, it's like a last resort to see if he can escape from such a high-risk surgery, And amazingly, after 2 weeks, you could see in the middle of the picture, he was all wired up, doing some cycling or running tests. He was put on the final test by his doctor. And his doctor was surprised to observe some signs of improvement in various indicators, yeah? And the doctor decided that to delay his operation for 3 months and test again, right? And Don's condition improved even more, and the operation was delayed repeatedly, every 3 months, and then to every 6 monthly, he got to go back for the test. And now he goes back for the test every yearly. Now Don just turned 71 2 weeks ago, and I'm glad to say that he's still keeping the surgery out with Celegen.
Congratulations to his recovery.
Yes, he's very happy.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. I was one day I'd like to catch up with him on this one.
Yes, let's go for a lunch. I think we should meet up with Don for a lunch pretty soon.
That's right. But I would like to go on with some of the important contents which are found in Celegen that I was looking through. And I would like to let you know about this ingredient called hydroamine peptide, an active ingredient from the marine extract. I read through a clinical paper 2015 in PMC publication. PMC is the PubMed Clinical Central publication, and the marine peptides have high potential nutraceutical and medicinal values because of their broad spectrum of bioactivities. And they have a whole list of wonders. What are these wonders? This ingredient can give antimicrobial, antiviral, it gives anti-tumor, it gives antioxidative, it's cardioprotective, that means it's for hypertensive, anti-atherosclerotic, it's anticoagulant, immunomodulating, analgesic. The list goes on. It's madness over here, actually. And all these have attracted the attention of the big pharmaceutical and nutraceutical and skin industry, which attempts to design and use them for treatment or prevention of various diseases and for skin conditions. Now, present in hydroamine peptide is called chondroitin sulfate, which is a major component of the extracellular matrix of many connective tissues, including cartilage resistant to compression, all right? So the structure for ligaments and tendons, bone and skin, along with glucosamine, is a widely used dietary supplement to treat what? Osteoarthritis, OA. This is a wonderful product itself, ingredient itself, sorry.
Wow, talking about OA, talking about knee, talking about ligament, and I have a story to tell as well. Could we have the next slide, please? Now, this is my very good friend Chong Ping's auntie. Okay, she was initially scheduled for a knee replacement operation. I was told that one knee replacement costs 25,000 Singapore dollar. So 2 knee replacement is a whopping 50,000 Singapore dollars. But the good news is that, well, let me invite Chong Ping to come and share what that good news is. Chong Ping, are you online?
Oh, it's Chong Ping here.
Chong Ping, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. Chong Ping, would you like to share your auntie story? How did you help your auntie at the age of 82 years old averted and prevented her knee replacement surgery?
You want long story or short story?
A medium story, please.
Yeah. Anyway, I was very concerned for my auntie at the age of 82 years old to have to go for a knee replacement operation because at the age of 71, I sent my mom for an operation, and after that, she passed away because of heart attack due to probably the anesthetic. So at the age of 82 for double knee operation replacement, I think is going to be quite a nightmare. So I kind of like talked to my cousin and I said, look, you know what happened to my mom? your mom is going through this operation. We have surrendered and said, yeah, let's go for the operation. But I said, well, let's strengthen her, go for the operation so that she recovers faster. And at least, you know, the operation doesn't go to waste, because most of the time after that, they can't recover and they'll be painful and then they won't walk, right? So after we recommended her, well, 1.5 months later, she was supposed to go for the setting of the date for the operation. So she walked into the surgeon's office. The surgeon asked, "Auntie, where's your walking stick?" She said, no need walking stick. Then he said, not pain. Then he said, no, feels better now. And then the doctor did some checks and then said, well, in that case, I tell you what. Well, I think he was afraid that she was pretending that it's not painful so that can escape the surgery, right? So he said, okay, we put it on observation, and see, you know, when we can do the operation. And well, it's been on observations from 2017 until now, lah. So yeah. So if you look at her legs on the photo on the right, she's more mobile. She's living a more active life. She even took part in mahjong competition and all that. So yeah, and she's still avoiding the operation. So
that's fantastic, isn't it? Because at that age, right, what they would really hope for is to not go into the operating theater.
Yeah.
And if she can move around with less pain, maybe not no pain, but if she can move around with more ease, I think her quality of life and her overall health and the fitness will also improve, isn't it?
Yeah. The worst part is if she had gone for operation and the pain and all that prevents her from moving. The operation have gone to waste. Yeah.
Thank you, Chongping, for sharing this story with all of us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that's a pretty good. Aunt of yours is still very energetic. But remember when I told you earlier, allow me to continue, Alvin. Okay.
Yeah, please do.
I was telling you that this hydro-MM peptide is mind-boggling, the amount of benefits that it has. So clinically, it has shown that supplementation, as the next slide will show you, it facilitates also blood glucose stabilization to mitigate obesity risk and help mitigate the type 2 diabetes symptoms and induce satiety feeling through its action on metabolic hormone. Now, this is not a cure, but this will improve your condition, but still you need to take your medication. And in conjunction with that, it will help to improve your condition much faster. So what does this mean? It is now proven in clinical papers that not only does it reduce glucose impact, it also promotes satiety. That means it's a sense of fullness, satiety, okay? So results of preliminary clinical trial show that food with marine MN peptide supplementation will lead to reducing the appetite on one hand and increase the feeling of fullness on the other hand. So you're able to control your weight loss, all right? You have any of these actual stories to let us know how well it does in practical?
Yeah, I mean, we all know that cell therapy is not a medicine. It is just a food supplement. Okay, it's not a medicine to cure any specific illnesses or whatever. But the whole idea of cell therapy is to allow our cells to regenerate healthily. And when the cells are able to regenerate healthily, our internal system may correct itself to some degree. Okay. Now this is a very interesting story. We never really expected it. This is my very good friend and partner, Jeannie's client over in the Philippines. I think the best person to tell this story would be Jeannie herself, because Mr. Nani Amelda is her very good friend as well. Jeannie, may I invite you to come online to share with our international audience?
Hi, good evening, Alvin.
Hi, Jeannie. Good to see you. Mabuhay.
Hi. We're actually here in Avita office.
In Manila.
Yes, in Manila with Dr. Faye and Attorney Jonah here.
Oh, hello there. Hi. Well, one doctor, one lawyer. You're welcome.
Yes.
Jeannie, would you like to share with us about the story of Nani Amelda?
Yes, this story, Nani is a good friend of mine, and he is one of my few friends that I highly introduce Celergen, because I know he is suffering with diabetic type 2. And because of his lifestyle, like not sleeping, always sleeping late, drinking, smoking, and all that, he developed this kind of disease. And so when he started with Celergen, like a month, like after a month, he felt good. He said he's sleeping better, and then the energy's boosted. So second month, and he's feeling great. And then until he forgot to go back to his doctor to check regularly because of his diabetes. And then he just remembered, because I told him, why don't you check with your doctor? Because, it's hard for me to see him every time, injecting insulin. And he's been doing this for 7 years already.
Mm.
And 70 units every day. And he said, I'm tired of insulin actually. And, I'm scared, what if we run out of insulin and what's going to happen to me? And so I said, why don't you check with your doctor? And good thing he went to his doctor after 7 months. And then he was
After 7 months on Celergen, is that?
after 7 months on Celergen. And he was really surprised when the doctor told him, Nani, what have you been doing? And he was so scared, like, what's wrong with me? And I said, no, whatever you're doing, just continue with it, because from now on, you're not going to inject insulin anymore. You don't need it anymore. And he was so happy about it that he called me, hey, I'm free of insulin. And he's really thankful for Celergen. And until now, since 2013, he never stopped taking Celergen. And now he's playing golf well. And he's been sharing Celergen to all his golfer friends.
Yeah, I think we have some later pictures of him as well.
Yeah, and then he also improved his weight, and then he lost his tummy, and he's really, really happy. And all his family, and now the latest is his son. He's also taking Celergen now. And
Wow.
and all his friends, he always talks about Celergen to them, because if it really improved him, why not my friends? Because I want to play golf with my friends forever. So that's really, really nice.
Thank you so much for calling in all the way from Manila and sharing your story in person. Yeah, we are very happy for this gentleman, and I think his life took a change for the better. Of course, I mean, if you do not need to inject insulin on a daily basis, yeah. Now, to be frank, we talked to a couple of doctors, and we are also not quite sure what exactly happened. Right? There are just possibility that the cellular malfunction either at the insulin quality or at the gland that secrete the insulin or whatever, but something must have taken a change for the better, yeah, becoming healthier, becoming more functioning, and we are very happy for Mr. Nani. But having said that, is not a cure for diabetes or to stop insulin, and please do not take it as a cure for anything. Yeah, so this is a really, really mighty story. Back to you, Gerald.
Oh, thank you, Alvin. That was a great experience that Jeannie's friend had. Yeah. On another ingredient which I would like to share with you all is lutein. And why is it so good? Lutein is well known. I think it's a well-researched antioxidant. Many say it's good for the eyes, it's good for the eye diseases, good for cataracts, retinitis, pigmentosa, glaucoma, floaters. Those who feel there are things floating around, then they say take lutein, right? But when you go into lutein and you look at the trials that they have done, interestingly, it slows down age-related cognitive decline. Eventually, you are able to recover damaged cognitive function in preserving the nerve efficiency on types of in types area of like dementia or Alzheimer's disease. So with the eye and the brain being connected together, it helps, and lutein helps. That means it say the nerve functionality of the eye improved. And when I went into published clinical papers like Slattery et al. And associates, they observed a 17% reduction in developing even colon cancer. The reduction of that of daily lutein consumption. And with lutein, the expansion also showed the risk of lower even pancreatic cancer even. And moreover, lutein is protective against breast cancer in 3 different clinical studies. And I say, wow, lutein is not just good for the eyes. It has more than just what just, all right. And with lutein, in a recent study, I saw in a meta-analysis 2018 in PMC that included mostly observational studies that enrolled more than 350,000 participants. You don't have this kind of meta-analysis, which is such a huge number. And they concluded that lutein consumption is even associated to better cardiovascular health and includes coronary diseases, stroke is much lower. And in summary, even the evidence of lutein is cardioprotective. So, Alvin.
Wow. I tell you, most of the time when you talk about lutein, people associate with the eyes. Not many of us are actually aware that it is something good for so many parts of our body as well.
That is right.
Yeah, but Gerald, eyes is so important in our life, And last year, I had the opportunity to travel in Iligan City in the Philippines. And I heard this amazing story.
Okay.
Now, I met this wonderful couple, Jeremy and a wife, Manny. And I think it would be great. I think Manny is in the room here. Manny, I've not seen you for almost a year now. Manny, would you like to come online and share your husband's story, your Jeremy story, in person?
Hello, everyone. Good.
Hi, Manny. How are you?
Yes, a pleasant evening to you, everyone. My name is Manny, and thank you for having me again here.
Thank you. Thank you for coming online to share. Yeah.
Yes. Well, I'm from Iligan City. It's actually in southern part, for those who doesn't know. And supposedly my husband should be joining me tonight, but he has to travel to work. He is a government teacher by profession and was assigned away from our home. Now, he usually opts to stay there rather than travel every day, considering his condition. Or you see, my husband has Marfan Syndrome, which is a genetic disorder that affects the connective tissue. So you might know someone with like elongated, there's a lot of features that you could see in a Marfan syndrome, but one of those, the symptoms of this or the features of this condition would be that you are very tall, thin, you have long arms, something like that. And but for my husband, the most of the
Sorry.
it's
Sorry, Manny. Yeah, we
yes,
were just.
it's okay.
Yeah. Oh, good
Yes.
to see you finally. Yes.
Oh, I just turned on my. But anyway, yes. For my husband, the features of the disorder that actually you can see in him is extreme nearsightedness.
I see.
So again, as I mentioned, my husband is supposed to be joining me tonight, but he's unable to do so.
Right. Yeah.
Because he's able to work. And one of those things that allowed us to what we have now is because of Celergen.
Right.
Because 3 years ago, we could not have imagined him doing what he is doing right now. Last September of 2017, my husband is noticing that his eyesight is getting blurry and dimmed, and he's noticing that every day, slowly losing part of his eyesight. Like there's a dark spot growing bigger and bigger.
Right.
And the area of which he can see becomes lesser and lesser.
At that point in time, was it the left eye or the right eye?
Oh, good question. He actually only has the right eye left at that time.
So his
because on
left
his
eye was
left
already
eye,
blind.
yes, mhm,
Right.
his left eye actually got operated because of the same concern. He has retinal detachment on his left eye, but what happened is that there's complication during the operation. He totally lost
Okay.
his left
Sorry to
eye.
hear that. Yeah.
So at that time, the extreme fear, anxiety that we could imagine, because that's the only eyesight that he has left, the right eye. And this is what is happening. Every day he can see lesser and lesser.
Mm.
And then, so we went to Manila to have him check, and that's when confirmed by the doctor that he is having retinal detachment on his right eye. And I can imagine how scared I was at that time, but I can't imagine how he must have felt. I mean, hearing that is the only eye left for him. If I will totally lose my eye, what will happen to us? So those are the questions that came to his mind. And we discussed it with the doctor, and we are glad to hear that he told us that there's a way for his eyesight to be saved. But we were constantly reminded that he could, the percentage in which he could save the eyesight would be around 50% or less, and not totally restored. But any percent is good enough for us. During at that time, we are clinging really on hope. But we are also reminded that at the rate that he is losing his eyesight, my husband is only actually given a week for him to, to keep his, to have the operation for us to save his eyesight. And as I mentioned before, and what happened to his left eye, we are very careful at this time. I mean, not only is it very costly, it is very costly, but we wanted to have the chance, the most chance that we could be able to save it. So we were really looking for the right surgeon for him. Friends are helping us out, they're praying for us. And actually it is at that time, Tibadet Quiblat and Doc Jonna, they are my leaders here. They introduced to us Celergen.
How did Celegen help him? Yeah.
Yes. Well, as I mentioned, he is losing his eyesight very rapidly at the time. Every morning he would say, "Oh, I only have 50%," and the next day he would say, "I only have 60%. I only have a quarter left that I could see." And by the time that he took Celergen, after 3 days, he noticed that the rate of the dark spot is it lowered down. And then the part wherein he can still see is it becomes lighter, or more sensitive to the light and much clearer.
Right.
So it was really, it really gave us hope. And finally we found a doctor to operate on him, but it actually is 5 days after the due date that was given to us. We were, as I've said a while ago, we were only given a week for him to save his eyesight, but we were able to have him, scheduled 5 days after. And at that time, I think it really slowed down the rate of the detachment of the retina, or at the rate that he was mentioning to me prior to that. It was really something that really gave us hope. And then the time that he got the surgery, it went smoothly. He went to a 2-hour surgery. And the doctor told us that he will need to recover like 2 months. I'll not really recover, but for him to, to have the healing for 2 months. And then he might be able to, see a little bit after probably around 3 days after the operation. But a day after, when the doctor, checked on him, she was quite surprised because when they took out the bandage, she could, I could see in his face. I mean that, the surprise that he has. That, oh, okay, the surgery went well. But what took me more is when the doctor said that she was quite surprised that not a lot of those being operated on in the eye could be able to, you know, see the result of the surgery right away.
Right.
So I would say that Celergen really helped him in, you know, preparing his body during the operation and in the recovery as well. And the doctor said that the healing would take like around 2 months, but actually a month after we were able to go home again, you know, to continue his home, you know, to continue the recovery, which is also in itself a surprise. And,
Right.
you know, and at that time he's taking Celergen probably for the first month 2 times a day.
Okay.
You know, just to hasten everything and to help out everything his cells to work on together. And after that, he's taking it once a day. One of the things that I also noticed about him, if you can see, like in the upper part, you can see the hair. It's really different, right? It's like, but if you go down to the other picture, you can see the hair that he has. It's real. He has a lot of hair there. So those are the things that really help him out. But aside from that is that he is able to sleep well despite all the worries
Right.
that we were having at that time.
Yeah.
So we're very happy.
Wow.
And he
Thank
couldn't
you.
be here. Or he couldn't be able
Wow.
to work if without it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing your life experiences. I only wish that Jeremy could be here beside you. I have not met him for
Yes.
more than a year now. I'm so happy to hear that both of you are doing well. Please send our regards to him. And I'm glad to say that he's back at work. He's serving the community as a teacher now, you know. And yeah, all the best to both of you. Thank you very much for your sharing.
Thank you.
Wow, you see, this is Celergen is just amazing in that, you know, when it helps to beef up the recovery and the regeneration of the cells, you will not notice not only, you know, just one particular part. You may notice your nail grow stronger and more healthier. Your hair will grow faster and denser, and your face will look better, etc. Yeah. Now, eye condition is not just very unusual conditions like Marfan syndrome, but glaucoma is a very common eye conditions, especially for many of the elderlies. Now, this is a very amazing story by my good friend Tengi's mother, and I think to tell Tengi's mother's story, it'd be best to invite the daughter to come and share. Daughter of the mother of Tengi, are you here?
Yes. Hi, Alvin.
Hi there, Tengi.
Hi,
Would you like to share your mom's story? Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Actually, this was like taken a few years back. Right now, currently, my mom is 82 years old, and she's currently in Melbourne, still enjoying traveling around and all that. She has been taking Celegen, I think, about coming to 10 years now. She started shortly after Celegen was launched, and I gave it to her because she was then suffering from this high eye pressure. Which the pressure in the eyes keep increasing due to her glaucoma condition. And doctors told her that if she doesn't maintain it or lower it down, it could cause blindness. And that was the last thing that we want for her to happen. So I gave it to her, not really telling her about cell therapy and things like that because she may think very complex. So I just told her as vitamin for your eyes, please take it. And she kept sharing with me that while she was having this condition, she need to rely a lot on eye drops. And these eye drops makes her eyes very sensitive. And in the morning or whenever she sleeps or take a nap, there's a lot of eye discharge that will actually block her whole eyes. And it's very hard for her to open her eyes when she wakes up and things like that. So after taking Celegen, in about 2 months, she noticed that the reliance on the eye drops drastically decreased. And she doesn't feel so dry. Her eye pressure is not that high. And then she feels very comfortable. At the same time, she also noticed her energy is really very good. Okay, she could climb the stairs to the second floor of my brother's place and still not pant. Usually she need to stop halfway and then continue, and she will still pant. So that's the time she started asking me, what is this? Is it really just for my eyes? Because my friends are asking me, you know, I look good, I look very energetic, and then I feel energetic. I don't feel so tired. And she's someone that cannot sit still. She likes to work around the house, do a lot of house chore, and she feels she's not tired out by the end of the day or even half the day. So I'm very glad that Celergen has been keeping her healthy, because to me, what I told her was the best gift I can give you is not just finances or pocket money, but really good health. Because at her age, she still wants to travel because all her children are all over the world, because we seldom travel to see her, but she travels. So she said that I need to stay fit, and that's one of her motivation. And Celegen has been helping her a lot. Just today, this morning, she posted on her Facebook, she has received her 6 boxes of Celegen from our Perth office. And she's ready to go back to US with that. And yeah, so when she has ample supply of Celegen, she is very rest assured, and she feels glad. So I'm very glad. I'm very thankful to Celegen and Avita for having such a wonderful product. I feel that has helped my mom, not only my mom, many moms around the world, as well as many of my friends. Yeah. Thank you, Alvin.
Wow, thank you. And send our regards to your globe-trotting mother. Gerald, there's one more ingredient, isn't it?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. My congratulations to your mom, Tengi. Yes. And now the next ingredient, as you can see on the slide, there's a peptide E collagen. Now, earlier on you saw hydropeptide, and now you see peptide. Now, peptide is an important area because it's a short chain, and you have to take it, whatever you take it with the empty stomach, it really goes to your gut and it's fast, I would say, speedily absorbed. So that's why it's best in peptide formulation, so that it will not go into any problems in terms of digestion with all the other things in the stomach. So when they have this peptide, this is what they call this peptide is a hydrolyzed collagen, this peptide E collagen. And this hydrolyzed collagen is for skin, for the bone, and for the connective tissue. Now, let me touch on the skin on the first one. In a beautiful recent clinical study published in PMC, PubMed Central 2019, which not so long ago, that was conducted. For those who are medically inclined, there is called randomized, blind, placebo-controlled study, all right? And a total of 72 female subjects aged 35 or more with healthy skin of any type were included into the study. And the main exclusion criteria were major chronic skin disease, out, major internal chronic diseases, out, diseases because you're taking a lot of drugs because it may impact on your skin reaction, also out. So what they just found in the results, they found that the A collagen peptide supplement improves the skin hydration, improves the elasticity, improves the roughness to make it smoother, reduce the wrinkling effect, and increase the density of the skin. So finally, the peptide E collagen supplement did not cause any side effects. And I was looking through everything. It is proved to be safe and very well tolerated throughout all the clinical studies. Now on the bone and connective tissues. Now this was to reduce the number of swollen tender joints with severe rheumatoid arthritis. So the peptide E collagen is easily digested, absorbed by the body, and along with its ability to accumulate in the cartilage, it makes it a powerful ingredient for alleviating the symptoms of rheumatoid arthritis with this analgesic effect, and it inhibits transmission of pain. So with this additional item for the skin and for the bone and for the cartilage, Alvin, what I've mentioned on the bone, skin, tissue, cartilage, do you grasp the many benefits of this content now? Alvin?
Alvin is muted.
Oh.
Oh, hi there. Yeah, I was just going to say that I'm really thankful to you, for doing all the monstrous research, and all the terms, But to me, I mean, peptide E collagen is about tong, yeah. 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 So
yes.
yeah. So naturally, it's very, very important for many lady folks, especially women, and not only women. I mean, nowadays it's also the new age guys, right? Yeah. And I have this one happiness story to share with everyone. And this is a big way thanks to peptide E collagen. Now, Madam Yo, you know, at the age of 88, she started on Celergen. Now we kind of track and fast forward all the way to 90. She becomes more energetic, more alive, more alert. In fact, she is literally younger and more youthful looking and much more vital at the age of 90 than compared to at the age of 88. Her entire family is enjoying Celergen. Madam Yo really benefited from Celergen because of her daughter, Chun Gyok, right? Now, really, if you look at her eyes, you know, look at this picture here. Her eyes at the age of 90 shines with the kind of life force and vitality, are much, much more brighter and alive compared to 2 years ago, right? And I think this is a beautiful gift for those of us who still have aging parents who are alive. I really echo what Tengi shared just now, that Celergen is really one of the best gifts for our parents, because at that age, it's not really about eating expensive food, okay, every now and then, but too much expensive food is also not good for them. They do not want more money for them to just buy more things. They prefer not to travel around the world, even they have the money. And what really they will appreciate is good health, good vitality. They can move around independently by themselves with minimal pain if it's possible, and with minimal illnesses, and especially doing away with chronic illnesses or delaying all these chronic illnesses and prevent and delay as much as possible of all forms of degenerative illnesses. I'll just like to share with you the next slide, which is a picture of my own parents. I took this only yesterday after I delivered 2 boxes of Celergen to them. My father is coming to 84. My mother is in the 70s. That's my stepmom actually, and they enjoyed Celergen from day one till now. And I'm really, really happy that they are in great health. They're good health, and they're mobile. They are healthy. They are on, you know, happily, gracefully aging, in other words, yeah. So my calling to all of us here, you know, if your parents are still alive, I think that this would be the best gift for them. And for those of us, please take Celergen to help yourself to age gracefully, and so that you don't become a burden for anybody, right? Thank you very much, Gerald, for sharing about all the ingredient, okay, but I think there are a number of clinical trials that Celergen has undergone that attracted a lot of your attention, and you delve very deeply into some of these clinical trials, including a clinical trial report on cancer. Would you like to make this complicated clinical trial into something easy for all of us to understand?
I will try, Alvin. But like you say, I have clinical studies for breakfast every morning, right? So when I came into and stumbled upon the research in 2013, I was very surprised to read this interesting paper on the effect of Celergen on human liver cancer cells, and published in Drug Discoveries and Therapeutics by Catanzaro and Associates. Must pronounce his name properly, respect to, because why the aim of this study that he did was to test a potential anti-cancer effect using Celergen in human liver. And in lab results, he found that Celergen significantly inhibited the proliferation of cancer cells in a dose-dependent manner while limiting the cell progression at the G1 phase, significant produced apoptosis. Now, in plain English,
yes, please.
stop the growth of cancer cells, and the more you add Celergen in, while it will more slow down the growth of the cell cycle growing out of where it's normally should be not growing and becoming cancerous, and make the cancer cells move into a self-destruction mode. Right? In the next slide, the clinical study showed that over the incubation, a 3-day incubation, the proliferation of liver cancer can be reduced by about 50% and more and above, because they're looking at the 50% mark. If you can do it well, anything above that is a bonus. So with that, in the next chart itself, next slide, how effective, in this case, okay, it is good, yeah, but how effective is it? So the exciting thing that Celegen can promote is that it causes natural cancer cell death. And it seems like cancer cells can somehow be awakened to remember, hey, you should be dying because you are growing unnaturally and not grow forever. So in the graph over here, it states that the most significant apoptosis, that means cancer cell death, at dose-dependent amount of Celegen, after a certain amount of days, they put down only 3 days of study, about 30% almost of cancer cell, it became self-destructive. That means it killed itself and it self-destruct by itself, versus no Celegen present. Now, looking at the chart here, the asterisk on top of the bar graph means that there is significant difference on the data evidence with Celegen versus no Celegen. On the next particular slide, I put in 3 particular charts, 3 graphs. All right. I think you went over the, you just need to back up 1 slide first. Thank you. Yeah, the effects of Celegen on both the life cycle of the cell and the self-destruction mechanism were examined very closely using real-time scientific measurement in the lab. And significant cancer cell destruction markers of P21 you see on the extreme left chart, and the GADD 153 is another component again on the center chart, were clearly observed just after 2 days following Celegen introduction. And it was maintained throughout the observation period of just 3 days. Once again, what did the chart on the extreme left and the center part where they see the asterisk on top of the bar means? There is great significant difference on data in evidence with Celegen on it, on cancer cell death. So while the chart on the extreme right, it shows the downregulation of the oncogene CMYC occurred as well. So what is this CMYC? Now, for those who are medically inclined, just to let you know, these results are p-value 0.01. That means it is significantly different. All right. And then what is this oncogene or CMYC? This oncogene CMYC is one of the main responsible causes of all the dreaded diseases and the cancers that happens in our body. Right now, you see the top killer of the cancer diagnosis for both males and females. And note the similarities on the top 5 incidences can be related to something, what we call this, our diet and also our lifestyle, how we present ourselves in lives. Now, while these studies need more further research and more human trials to follow up, our general conclusion is that this marine-derived nutrition, if properly farmed, collected, processed, maintained, it has a very promising potential as a safe source of beneficial treatment in nutraceuticals, meaning food as medicine. Now, these results suggest that such marine compounds may have very good anti-cancer properties. Let me go on to my next clinical study, which on top of it, I found that in 2014, initiated by Avita, the second study effect on Celegen in pancreatic cancer cells. Now it becomes more interesting. Why? It's more interesting for me especially, where this type of condition, normally it's a 5-year survival rate only for pancreatic cancer, and less than 5%, okay, the survival rate, and it spreads so fast and it takes the person away very fast. All right. And published in this study, Acta Biomed 2014 by Roberto and Associates. The purpose of this study is to assess how Celegen, a popular marine nutraceutical against tumor cells that is very invasive in human, these human pancreatic cells, and the effect of interleukin-6. In other words, interleukin-6 production, or you call it IL-6, in pancreas is much higher than in any other organs in cancerous condition. Now, what are the findings? In the next slide, or you're already on the next slide, okay? I'm talking, I didn't look at the slide. Now, in the next slide itself, the blue bars, those high and low invasive cancer cells treated with Celegen, there is a decrease in the IL-6. IL-6, interleukin-6 versus the untreated cells. Now, just to let you know, interleukin-6 is an inflammatory cell, inflammatory marker. So once you have inflammation, remember in the earlier slides I say, you give rise to a lot of disease and problems in the body. So once again, you look at the graph, the asterisk on top of the bar graph means there is significant difference on the data evidence with Celegen versus no Celegen. Okay, for those who are clinically inclined, the value is p.05. Okay, p-value 0.05. Now remember, the lower level of IL-6 correlate to better survival rate. So in this study, it shows that the advanced stage of survival after diagnosis in 6 months is not good for pancreatic cancer. Now, this data suggests that Celegen, the marine bioceutical, may exert benefit regulation of this IL-6 receptor in pancreatic cancer. How do you see this evidence, Alvin?
Well, to be frank, cancer is a big thing for myself. My own mother died of cancer, and one of the reasons why I am taking Celegen religiously is also to delay, prevent, and hopefully delay. I mean, there's a propensity in the genetics, yeah. So in the next story that I would like to share is actually a very good friend of mine, Amy Chong. Now, she is the educational director of an international kindergarten in Kuching, East Malaysia. Now, in September 2014, she was diagnosed with a very aggressive form of breast cancer. She was advised and then underwent mastectomy right away, followed by a very aggressive dose of chemo and radiotherapy for a total of 14 months. Amy started on Celegen and Vita 18 enzyme drink, which is another Avita product, around the time when she just got started with the chemo. Now, her battle with cancer was impressively smooth. On the day of her last chemo, after 14 months, on the 25th of November 2015, she came to my office with her son, and the son is the gentleman in black, to celebrate her liberation from cancer. Now, very interestingly was that she showed me her fingernail. So I was wondering why she was showing me the fingernail. And she told me a story of what her oncologist, when signing her off, told her that how I wish that all my other cancer patients are just like you. You know, look at your nail, they are not even blackish, you know, they don't even look cancerous. And apart from her falling of her hair, every bit of her, you know, she continued working in the kindergarten, and she was still full of energy, very minimal nausea, and she was thankful to Celegen and Vita 18 for really accompanying her through the 14 months of battling of cancer, boosting her immunity, giving her even better complexion than before, and also minimizing all the form of side effects. Now, her son, Bernie, is now also taking Celegen, and her 86-year-old mother is on Celegen as well. And Amy continued to take Celegen over the years. Let me show you some pictures. That was a picture in 2015. And the next picture is that she came, because she doesn't live in Singapore, she comes here for her medical checkup, and then she picked up Celegen from the office in 2017. And then in 2018, and you notice that she kind of stopped aging. And I think the guy next to her also stopped aging. Yeah, and The most recent picture was last November when she came to pick up a Celergen. After that, it was locked down, you know, and I've not met her for a while, but last month she ordered a Celergen, and this time around we mailed it to her, airmail to her in Kuching. You know, it's this story that makes us really very happy with doing our business and our job. And we just feel that, you know, giving people more health, more wealth is really a very meaningful career in this. And for myself, like I said, taking Celergen is one of the way that I could strengthen my cellular nourishment and health level, so that if by genetic predisposition, you know, that the Celergen is going to, I mean, cancer is going to come knocking, I hope that I can watch it off to ripe old age, yeah. If I can prevent it altogether, good. Yeah, if not, delay as much as possible. And that's the beauty of Celergen, helping us to minimize degeneration or slow down degeneration, slow down aging, and ward off as much of this chronic illnesses as possible. So Gerald, are there more interesting clinical trial that you can feed us with?
Yeah, actually, I want to edify what you say, Alvin, because in the next clinical trial, why am I going into ingredients, content, and then after that, clinical trials? It's because the content has benefits. It has proven. But when each content has proven benefits, no one knows when you put together the amalgamating factor will come in. What happens? Is plus 1 plus 1 is 3, or 1 plus 1 is going to be 10. This is why the clinical paper is important. So when they throw it in clinical paper, it's like your exam. Why you're going to do it, and what you're going to see, and how it's going to come out. So we earlier talked about the Celegen or contents. Now this study shows that such marine nutraceutical containing DNA, collagen, elastin, and protein extract has been recently shown to exhibit strong skin fibroblasts, protecting effect against the mutagenic UV radiation. In the next slide itself, this is from Regeneration Research publication 2011 by Francisco and Associates. Firstly, the skin is the largest human organ in the body, and is the only organ that you can say directly exposed to UV radiation. Now, UV radiation is one of the causative factors of well-known DNA damage, inflammatory response, and induces a range of skin lesions, being a well-established risk for skin aging and skin cancer. All right. So in this study that I mentioned, is they take fullness of human skin biopsy, protected from the sun. Don't tell me which part of the body, of 22-year-old to 32-year-old donors by using punch biopsy. That means they take out the skin, a small part of it, and the findings was treated with Celegen, and it shows more than 54% that is statistically significant elastase activity inhibition. That means it's not saggy, it's not to be so rubbery, but it becomes very firm. Represents a useful approach of protection against skin aging. Now, in conclusion, these studies are ex vivo studies. That means they're not now doing on animals, but now it's on humans and on human skin, show that such marine nutraceutical extract can provide a significant protection against UV radiation, reduce the elasticity of the skin. That means that Celegen firms up the skin and show no side effects given its safety profile. So Alvin, there is a whole body of evidence that has been investigated and covered here. And still, there are many more out there in the clinical space. But you see now, as for some people will say, it's just a supplement. What do you think?
Indeed, yeah. So this is really what we call, in summary, Celegen is like an all-rounder. I'm really happy that we have Gerald. I mean, there are not many people like you who can consume all these things and make it into simple lingo that we all can understand. That that Celergen is not just a food supplement for our body. Actually, it's a food high nourishment for the body cells. It's so important that if our cells are able to maintain themselves well and regenerate healthily, then our internal harmony, right, the internal symphony will be able to play in a way that it will be functioning well, yeah. So yeah, Celergen kind of keep our cell nourished. To me, it's the best of supplementations. And now there are 4 key features that is shown on this particular slide that I like to kind of like just bring it to a conclusion. That first and foremost, I think Gerald has shared with us all the marine extracts. They are all super antioxidant, and antioxidant is really, really important, especially now as we are bombarded by a lot of free radicals, not only from inside, but also from outside in. The second thing is that it's really high quality. The reason why it's high, super high quality is that it uses a Swiss cold extraction proprietary technology. Now, you see, most of the extractions from natural plants or herbs or whatever, or ingredients, it uses heat, right? And it's actually a cheaper process. But cold extraction is really significant because extracting that is cold, it will preserve the bioactivity and the biostructure, the original rawness of the food, of the ingredient, and that's really important, so the bioactivity is not compromised. Now, the third is that it's synergistically blended. I love how Gerald puts it, that individual ingredient might be really, really good, but when they put together, does it make a great dish? You know, is the formula given right? That when it all comes together, do they complement and synergistically support one another? And I think like he said, all the clinical trial is a way of very technical study to prove that it works. But I think more important is empirically how we all experience Celergen. And I'm really, really happy that over the last 11 years, we have helped thousands and tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of people all around the world. We are grateful that a few of the people have come forward tonight to volunteer and share their personal experiences. And I hope that in the days ahead, there will be more of you who will come forward and share yours as well. So then you have number 4, which is high efficacy. Now, Celergen's ingredient in the soft gel is already pre-digested. In other words, is that you are not taking Celergen in and being digested in your stomach. In fact, the ingredient is being encapsulated in the soft gel, which is enteric coating. And by enteric coating, it means that the coating will survive the harsh gastric environment within your stomach. And the moment the soft gel gets into the small intestine, which is slightly alkaline environment, is programmed and designed to dissolve. And then it will release all the ingredient for direct absorptions by the small intestine and be transported into the various parts of the body. So this is high efficacy, and we are not depending on the digestions in the stomach. Is for direct absorption at the small intestine. There's a lot of thoughtfulness behind the design and the research of this very simple, humble product in the form of just a soft gel. Yeah, and no wonder, right, that in the America, top anti-aging doctors in the US praise Celergen. Could I have the next slide, please? As the Rolls Royce of supplements for the human body. Now, these are top anti-aging doctors who are servicing very high value client in the Beverly Hills and all. In Europe as well, the Derma Society specialists also endorse Celergen as one of their choice treatment for skin condition and aesthetic as well. Now, not just in the US and in Europe, but here in Asia as well, we have top doctors, top plastic surgeons and anti-aging specialists and orthopedic doctors who treat professional athletes and basketball players in the Philippines who highly recommend Celergen to all their clients, and all these doctors are taking Celergen themselves as well. And now Celergen is distributed by the Avita network, comprising professionally trained distributor, just like Gerald and I. Now in 9 countries across Asia. Now we are very proud to have the opportunity to be of service to a combined population of over 750 million people in Asia. Now my business has only 2 roles for which I enjoy tremendously. Now the first is to provide consumer education, which is what Gerald and I are doing right now tonight to an international audience, so that the goodness of Celergen and also the science and the understanding behind Celergen can be made known and be made available to more people around the world. My other role is to build up a team, a regional team of distributor, provide professional training to equip them and grow them into competent distributor. And in that way, they will then, together with me, co-create a multinational network enterprise. Now, for those of you who are keen to explore joining us in promoting the goodness of Celergen and turn it into an international business for yourself, we'll be very happy to invite you back next week, same time, okay, when we will speak about the Celergen business model, and which is really a multi-million-dollar opportunity, right? Tonight, we are very happy that we have come together and enjoy this short little evening of talk and sharing. I'm particularly thankful to Gerald for making the scientific information so easy to digest in a simple everyday lingo. Thank you, Gerald, very much.
You're welcome. My pleasure. It's my contribute my humble knowledge and to inspire others to also see the things that I see in the evidence that you have.
And I'm very happy that you and your whole families are enjoying Celergen now.
Yeah, and thank you once again. And we would like to as we sign off, we'd like to hand back over to Veronica.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Veronica, over to you.
Thank you very much, Alvin and Gerald, for that very, very insightful and informative information. So everyone, invest in your body wellness and with immediate action to get started on experiencing the Celergen goodness, especially customized for this session. Own a starter pack of 6 boxes created just for you and your family. Take 2 soft gels every day on an empty stomach, and for the first 3 months for an initial recalibration of your cellular health. And then after that, you may continue with 1 soft gel every day from the 4th month onwards. So